Whoop, whoop. Hey guys, it's WarmConnell007 here. Just going to go over the latest update that Llama Train Studios tweeted. It's on the screen there now. Basically, Lando put up it's a clip of Lando rather in the rain, revealing what the blur was earlier in the week. Everybody said it was realms. Everybody said it was realms. Guess what? It's not realms. Basically, it's weather. So basically the tweet goes on just saying, just to reveal it, it's going to be a weather forecast. But the biggest thing out of this tweet that you need to take away is kind of like the bottom line. It says this will cause strong and new Loomians to appear in different experiences of weather. Okay, so let's kind of like let's talk about it for a second. What does that actually mean? What, like, realistically, what does that actually mean? Well, that means that we're going to get rain, which, if you think about it, we've seen that before. Do you remember at Laguna Lake you had to go out in a lake to evolve? Was it Sliggoo that you had to evolve? In the rain after a battle. So it's going to be new ways of potentially evolving things. Not only that, different weather means different Loomians are going to appear. I say different strengths of Loomians. So for me, all this tells me is kind of like, if you've played Pokemon Sword and Shield, if you've went to the rolling fields, there's like different weather areas in a larger field, but I think the principle's kind of still the same. I think it's the fact that basically if you are in rain, you might get something appearing. So I don't know, maybe you'll get a wild Garlash appear as an example. Now the thing is, how is that going to work? Because if you take the principle of, like, let's just talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Okay, with Pokemon Sword and Shield, you had your open area and your weather conditions, but then you will actually see those spawns already. Does that mean that we're likely to see more in-game Loomians? I know it is something that a lot of people have asked feedback on, saying I'd love to see more in-game Loomians. The only really in-game Loomian we currently have is obviously the soft resets, but also 3D. Whenever 3D spawns in different areas, doing his graffiti as well. So that's an interesting one. Not only that, that means that things can change because, you know, if we're going to get different weather conditions, right? One, can we control the weather or influence the weather? Two, does that mean that weather is going to be different whenever you're looking at day and nighttime hunts? So does it have to be raining at night, perhaps? So do conditions have to meet certain criteria to actually find a Loomian? It opens up a world of possibilities. Now, the one thing that absolutely got quashed in seconds was the fact of it impacting battle. So basically Jamie replied straight away and said this is an adventure thing, it's not a PvP thing. I know it's something that I've constantly talked to Jamie about before. I've mentioned on his PvP streams because obviously he does the balance changes and so on. Like weather teams is not something that the developers are keen on right now. Could it appear? I guess the usual response from Jimmy is maybe, but not right now. At the moment, as you can see, it's not. From his response there, it's straight away just stopping the fact that people are going to go, right, I'm going to run a sand team, I'm going to run a rain team, and so on. So it's interesting to think about it, because right now, if we're looking at this from, I guess, a game development point of view, like, we did have Laguna Lake, which had the UMV. We're now at Laguna Lake. Laguna Lake used to rain over the water. Interesting time to bring it back. At the same time, like, the only people who are really going to complain about this is probably going to be the PvP community. You know, we know that developers aren't keen on certain things with PvP, and it's fair enough. It's their game at the end of the day. Like apparently they don't want to bring in like Will-O-Wisp, don't want to bring in weather teams. And I get that because it kind of brings in kind of dominance on certain types of play, which is absolutely fine. I think it's, if it does get brought in my opinion, it does need to be later. I think right now in terms of battle and stuff, it's really heavily defensive at the moment, like really heavily defensive, but it's not overly broke. But I think we're seeing a real step up and change that it's getting really heavily defensive, but things will change as more Loomians come into it. The other thing that we should be expecting is, we know what Atlantean City is likely to be the next place. If you remember from Pokemon Brick Bronze, Atlantean City was the air place. Atlantis is obviously underwater. Will there have to be certain criteria to actually enter the city? Which is actually a great shout. Could you imagine that the city only appears during raining? Or potentially during sunny times, potentially a lake or a bed of water could disappear and reveal things. There is so many things that developers could actually now play about with for the game. Now, the one thing that's going to be the question is when, and it's always going to be when, because what we have learned is nobody has any patience at all. We know these things do take time, and that's fair enough. The devs, to be fair, over Christmas were like flat out communicating, they were kind of forecasting, they were giving that feedback. Hopefully that's the case. But again, a leak is fantastic, and it just drives more questions and it creates hype and so on and so forth. But the question is when. Is it going to be on the current 8 routes? Give them more development time for other routes? Now, we know the developers have basically said we actually want to focus on more events rather than bringing in the next Battle Coliseum. They didn't talk about additional routes because, you know, we're going to be going to the beach next, aren't we? So is that the case? So is it going to be on like future routes? Is it going to be on specific routes only? Is weather going to be on all routes? Are we now going to find new Loomian spawn in Route 1 as an example under different weather conditions? Are we going to find more in-game Loomians? Is that something else that could be brought into the game? Are we going to find yet another soft resettable? Please no, please no, please. I think everybody's kind of fed up with soft resettables. But are we going to find another soft resettable? So for example, let's say in max heat, a bed of water goes away, a certain Loomian comes and it stands there. Is it going to be soft resettable? Is it going to constantly appear? Is it only going to appear once? There is so many things that the developers could potentially play about with it. I guess my question for you guys is, what would you guys want to see? You know, what are your expectations? So we know it's not going to impact battle. The other thing I would probably also raise is, I know I've voiced it, and a few other people have voiced it. We're now midway into January, and I know there's time. But the next event marker is Valentine's Day. Are we going to see a Valentine's Day event, which is the 14th of February? Now, historically, I think they didn't do in Brick Bronze. They didn't do the last 2 Valentine's Day at all. But again, this is a new game. They said they want to encourage more events. So it's a strange one. Are they going to bring anything in? Are they not? I don't know. After that, you then got Easter, which is going to be in April. April the 2nd is Easter Friday. Easter Sunday is April the 4th. April the 1st is obviously a Thursday, so it's perfect time for Valentine's Day, April Fool's pranks. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Be really interesting to see what weather brings. You know, can it also influence fishing? You know, potentially you get different spawns in fishing. Could the weather even influence the UMV? You think about it, right? Let's say, for example, it's like really, really hot, and I've talked about, you know, water drying up and things like that. Could it allow for another UMV event that is only open during, you know, high heat? Because you could easily open up another trench, essentially, and have like other bits of land revealed. I think that would be pretty cool. There's so many things that they could play about with it, but I don't know. I guess from your point of view, what you guys think, it's great to get the leaks, absolutely. But it just opened up more questions for everybody. What do you guys think of what they could do? What should they do? When do you guys think it's going to happen? There's so many questions here that are on the table, which is good. You know, again, the only kind of setback is we're still averaging 5-6 months per battle Coliseum, which shows it is kind of it's going to be a big lengthy project. Whenever you look at it, so hopefully, we do see more in the adventures. Events are great and all. We've just had 2 events back to back though. I think a lot of people are just kind of wanting more of the adventure. The weather is going to be great to have. You can easily put events around it. We're going to get new Loomians, which is even better. What are those Loomians going to look like? What are they going to do? Are we now going to encounter Loomians that are going to be a higher experience for us to battle? There is so much here that's now open to us, which is phenomenal. By the way, I'm having like no luck here at all in this boost. We're down to the last minute. Are we going to clutch it? No. Having no luck on the boost, but yeah, it's good. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below. As usual, if you do enjoy my content, do hit the like. If I haven't told you to subscribe, go do that. On Discord, guys, at the moment there's giveaways on flat out. On Twitter, I've got Coloured Icicles due to end on Thursday. The links are in the descriptions below. And on top of that, I'm going to be probably running either a 2v2 or doubles tournament on the Discord. Probably open up another 1v1 probably next 2 weeks, which is interesting. So doesn't look like we're going to hit anything on this boost, but more importantly, I just thought I would share that news with you. Not everybody has access to Twitter. I hope that helps, and it's kind of good just going over the updates and sharing our thoughts. Guys, I'm going to leave it off there. I've been WarmConnell007. Can I say whoop whoop? Keep it country. Gamma Ignal. Oh, it's no Gamma Ignal. Right, anyway, I'm going to leave it off there.